So I guess it's this thing. It's like position it out. Something like that, say. But yeah, you can definitely add props. And then because someone mentioned adding hair or like fur, whatever. So I thought I would just briefly show that. So basically this is it's just like a torus thing that I added. So it could be whatever shape that you modeled your hair to be. Yeah, you can see it's just a torus. So let's go back. So it's like under here, not physics, particles. So it's a particle system. So you just delete this one, say like add one, set it to hair. And then you can just play with the settings, tune down the length. Say I want it to be 0.4, something like that. I don't want even distribution. And then and set the children to be interpolated. Tune down the length a little bit more. And then yeah, this is like the kink type is like where you set like kind of the shape of it. You can like play around with it. I think I had it set to wave or spiral, something like that. Yeah, so just kind of play around with it. And then one thing you can do, you can set this to in the texture. Right now, I had it set to the same. So basically, I have this thing up here. It's like a moss procedural moss texture, but you can set it to say in the shading tab. The and set it to principled hair BD BSDF. So that's going to give you like an automatic hair texturing. Yeah, so basically you can see, yeah, you can just play around with it. Set it back to moss. Yeah, okay, so environment. Okay, let me just. Yeah, so in the shading tab, you go like right now, like in here, like you can toggle between object and world. So object is the texturing of whatever object that you're working on. But if you want to work on the world settings, um, and I'm just gonna delete it. I'll just delete it for now. Oops. um, but a way that I like to approach it is and add a new, so like adding a new world texture. And so you can just you see like that it needs a background node in the texturing. And then so in the color, it's the same when you do this versus like you can do the same thing as like hit Shift A to add whatever texture in here. So Blender has a built-in sky texture. If you want to do something really simple, you can just do like a simple sky texture. And there's Nishita, Retham. They're different, and there's one. Which one is it that allows? I think it's Nishita. Yeah, so Nishita, you can basically see the sun. So you can like, if you wanted a sun behind it, see turn down. Oops. You want to turn down the strength. Too bright. Oops. You can see basically the sun disk is behind it. So yeah, and you can adjust the sizing, sun elevation, and all of these settings. Yeah, so that's if you just wanted to do like just a sky texture by itself. But what we can do is add an HDRI. So HDR is like basically stands for a high dynamic range image, and people have already there's a ton of assets out there, so it's basically a 360 a very high definition 360 image of environments that people have created. And Blender Kit has a great selection of assets. You can also browse other websites. There's like HDR Haven, I think. Polyhaven has a bunch. So yeah, let's see. You want to do like, outdoor. Yeah, so basically a lot of outdoor settings. I think the one that, I don't know, I wanted like a mountain scene. Let's see, how do I find it? Is it this one? I think it was this one. Yeah. So you can select the size. Yeah, I tend to go for the 4K ones so that they look better. Yeah, so you can see that it just automatically adds in the like node setting in the texture. So basically this orange thing, so this is like the background. It's the same if you did it like like no, not background. This is, I believe, environment. Yeah, it's environment texture. So this brown orange tab thing stands for that. Yeah, so basically this is just the the image of the HDRI, HDR. And then these nodes, texture coordinate and mapping. So basically it allows you to rotate it, translate it. So for example, like if we adjusted the Z setting, it's gonna rotate the image around. So you can adjust it like so. So yeah, you can definitely just play with the texturing for this. If there is, I guess, there's a trick that I learned. So there's a way that you can mix a environment texture together with a sky texture to make it the lighting more realistic. What you can do here is add like a sky texture node. Plug the color into the string and you also want the two image texture, like two textures to have the same like vector map. So let's see, I think this one's maybe the strength. Basically adjust these settings. Now it looks really dark. We want it's the turbidity. Yeah, so some way you can go about setting up the environment. And let's see, this. And say that you want like in the scene you want shadows for the character. So a way that we can do this is, so basically we can like add just go ahead and add a plane. And adjust this later on, but you can add a plane and we can set its visibility to none and use it as like, because like you can use this to create shadow for the scene, but without the visibility of the plane. So what you can do is go to the, I think, yeah, so there's like object settings, invisibility, just turn shadow catcher on. Yeah, so now basically creates a very like slight shadow, and you're gonna have to tweak the settings in order to make it look more strong. But yeah, so just I wanted it to maybe rotate a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it would obviously look different if the like the environment is a little less busy. Right now it's harder to see it. But basically, there's a way that you can also like adjust the uh color and intensity of the shadow by adjusting the texture of the character. So if you added like a mixed shader and like you experiment with the settings and get it to look transparent, it can basically change the appearance of the shadow. But yeah, I'm not gonna go into details of it right now. Um, yeah. And so that's basically like outdoor scenes. That's kind of like the common pipeline that you would work with, create it. But say you want like an indoor scene, I don't know. And I just found out that this new version of Blender has a built-in 3-point lighting system. Go ahead and play with that. So we're just going to disable the sorry, okay. Have anything. So yeah, and for those of you like if you worked with photography, you know, 3-point lighting system is pretty common setup for creating optimal shadow. I guess we can just do like a real quick, like, I don't know, we can do 50 uh, photo studio. Screwed it. Oh, add a bevel. Okay. And we don't need this other plane for this. Okay, so basically, you can just go in here, preferences to enable this lighting system is called tri lighting. Yeah, so just enable it, and then you can just add it with Shift A, go to the lights, 3-point lights. It's my first time playing around with it. Yes. So you can see it just basically added in 3 area lights. I guess we don't see it because it is so. Try to up it. 200. This is 150. Um, so yeah, like can adjust the proximity of the light, closer, maybe change the colors. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can be played around with the lighting. And you can also definitely do spotlights. Spotlights, it's gonna look a lot more intense. Point lights are smaller. Um, so yeah, and you can like adjust all of these settings, like the spread. Um, yeah. Okay. So I guess, and there's like so much more that you can go into with lighting, obviously. Bunch of tutorials out there how to kind of like get the most optimal lighting setup. And yeah, and it's a very desirable skill to have, just in terms of styling, art direction, stuff like that. So I would definitely look into it. And then I guess lastly, just creating cameras and rendering. Um, so So I went into before, I think optimally, yeah, let's just can use cycles for rendering is going to create the most level of detail. And depending on your device, I like to use GPU compute. So basically, instead of using CPU, using GPU is going to save you, it's going to make it a lot faster. Um, and you can enable it in preferences, system, see if the machine that you're using is up to speed. You can it's either like CUDA optics, just enable the graphics processor here. Um, yeah, okay. And so adding cameras, right now the scene has one camera already, but I'm just gonna demonstrate. So it's the same way as you add a mesh, Shift A, create a camera. Create a camera in the scene, and the way to set like the current camera as your render port is go to object. Oh no, I think it's view. Yeah, view, cameras, set active object as camera. Um, so you can see now you're using the second camera as the framing device. And what I like to do is, yeah, go to the view tab, and you can lock it. You can lock the view to 3D cursor, camera to view. So once you enable this, you can just adjust the view using like the rotation translation on your mouse. So you can just rotate it and it'll adjust the view for you. So yeah, that's like the camera. Just take a look. And to change the aspect ratio of the image, so you can just go to the output. If you want to have a really high res image, you can just go here like *2. It's gonna uh, multiply by 2. And you can adjust the setting like to make it square or a vertical portrait view, however you want. Yeah, so that's the format of the image. And a few settings to adjust in the render settings. So this part is for the viewport, but for the render, typically for our purposes, the max samples does not need to be so high. You can just set it to, you can experiment with it. I do like 1,000. Obviously, having the GPU compute is going to make it run a lot faster. Um, yeah. And noise, lights, you can definitely go into these settings. And say like you wanted to uh render, I don't know, like an image of the character without the background. Say you want to have like just a PNG with transparent background, you can just go to film and hit transparent. Um, so this is gonna just render like an outline of the character without any background whatsoever. Um, yeah, and now we can just see what the render looks like. We go to render here and render image. It looks really terrible. Um, something also pretty slow. Um, and usually like in the render, during the render, you can really see like whatever errors you have. Um, yeah, looks like I have an eyeball in here to get rid of. It's probably some other errors that I need to fix. Um, and it's doing it in tiling mode. So tiling basically means it's like rendering the image like by tiles. You can adjust it, I think. Remember. Render, oh, render performance memory tile size. Okay. See. Wow, yeah, this is super slow. I think it's the combination of the image being very big, because right now it's almost 4K, and the render size is the render samples is 1,000. So it looks like we're gonna have to tune that down. Um, Keep that the same. But you'll bring the max samples down to 400. And then I want to see performance, adjust the tiling setting. So I don't want to use tiling. It's very different now. Let's try the render again. Think is likely that the hair system is taking up a lot of memory. It's taking a lot of time to calculate. Okay. Where are the eyes? Oh yeah, it's this one. Interesting. But yeah, you get the idea. I'm gonna try to render one with the outdoor setting. So just going to disable the light. Oh, maybe we keep it. It's really weird. Disable this.